After the aftermath of our other Iron Maiden video, I think it warrants a more in-depth statistical approach to a certain album, which, as people can see right here, Somewhere in Time.
Which I requested, by the way,
Did you
just for all
requested
the
it?
haters. I requested this album.
Just to
So
let you know, the thing about this album is they changed their whole sound with synthesizers and like more futuristic to it. But since you also like synthesizers and somewhat futuristic sounds,
well, I think it's also an urban legend that I don't like Maiden too, because in that other video it was a combination of Maiden and like Megadeth and Metallica and other stuff. Which the Maiden songs, of which we played like what, one, two, or three.
three or four maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I like those. I very much like Number of the Beast. I love the second track on this one,
Wasted Years.
Wasted Years. I gave it a 7 in the last one. I think I'm going to have to reconsider after we hear it this time. And I know Maiden is a huge influence of some of the other bands that I listen to. Dream Theater, they were a huge Dream Theater influence. Maiden is just one of those bands that you have to respect no matter if you like the music or not.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to hearing this futuristic Maiden sound.
Brings a tear to my eye. So the first track is called Caught Somewhere in Time.
Let's do it.
Let's try
Joker.
it. Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, we gotta.
The volume is low.
Gotta reach here, son of a bitch. Got it. Oh shit! Oh, here we go. I like it already. That's what I like. I like layers
Like onions.
or cake. Off to a fantastic start.
Hell
I
yeah.
have to say that the harmonization of the instruments, fantastic. I love the added synths, which I think we're missing a little bit on the other Maiden video that we did.
Yep.
I also wanted to say I love the cover too. I'm looking at it right here a little
I
bit more.
love
I'm
this.
a huge fan of the Terminator franchise.
Yeah, that's pretty much what
or
it
not
looks
franchise,
like.
just the first two movies.
Yeah,
But,
pretty much.
but yeah, it reminds me a lot of the Terminator. I love the pace. I love the speed, and I know what you're saying about the different sound.
Yeah, big
and I have
time.
to say I love it.
Yeah,
It's
I thought you would like
fantastic.
it more.
Only thing I'll say so far is that I don't know if it's the speakers we're listening to it on, but I can barely hear the singer.
So
I
that's
don't know
why
if that's for better or
so
worse.
this album, I don't know why, the singer's track is like tuned down a lot.
Why is that, do you know?
I have no idea. I never looked into the reasoning why. Because like the other ones, he's very prominent. You can like hear him. He cuts through a lot. But this one, I think they wanted to focus more on the futuristic aspect with the synthesized guitar and the harmonization. So I think they turned him down a little bit.
You know what? I actually appreciate that because I'd rather have it that way than turned up too loud, which I think
Yeah.
a lot of the metal singers do sometimes.
They do.
So I do appreciate that, but let's go ahead and finish it out. Wow. So I have to say, after hearing the song in its entirety, I now kind of understand a little bit more the vocal mix. I think it is kind of low, but I think that almost goes with what they were doing here. It adds to the atmosphere of the song. You know, I'm big on atmosphere. I'm also really big on reverb, which I'm a huge fan of. I listen to a lot of Travis Scott. I listen to a lot of rap sometimes, and the reason I gravitate more just towards Travis Scott is because of his use of reverb and some really cool vocal effects. This may be given Wasted Years a run for its money.
Oh yeah! Wow.
I only have one complaint.
Okay.
Just one small complaint is that I love the layers. Like I said, very layered, very dynamic song. Just a little bit too long.
Yeah, it's a little.
You know, just to like it's 7:25, which isn't too bad. I mean, I'm a Dream Theater fan. I listen to the 40-minute songs,
exactly.
obviously, so it kind of sounds hypocritical. But if they added maybe like a little bit of change up, like they did in the beginning, I like that change that went into the main song.
Yeah.
If they added maybe that one in the middle somewhere, I think it would have kind of warranted a longer runtime. But other than that, this was a fantastic sound and a terrific opener that really gets me ready for the rest of the album. I know what comes next, Wasted Years.
So it's
but I
just
think
like-
we need to listen to that again because it's Wasted Years.
Oh, you have to listen to Wasted Years.
So I'm gonna give that one a 9.5 out
Oh.
of 10. And another thing that I really appreciate is that I always love when a song or an album sounds like the cover.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
I think this album sounds like that cover.
It does, right?
That's a great one.
I guess now go to Wasted Years, which you know very well.
I do. All right, so this is less, I think, of a reaction and more of a review because I have heard this heard the song a thorough amount of times. I have to say this may be the perfect metal song.
Oh, really?
I've never heard, like, it's kind of difficult to describe, but a metal song that kind of checks all the boxes that you would want from I guess, a metal song. Very impressive, perfect metal song, and I have to give this one 10 Coasts of Gold out of 7 Seas.
Oh, like for 10 out of 10. Every time I see Maiden, they play this every time, live. Always.
Is this like their Pull Me Under, or is this like a...
Their Pull Me Under is the Trooper.
The Trooper?
Without a doubt. When I was first getting into Maiden, I heard this song a handful of times, and I always turned it off because I was
really.
Like, and then when I saw them live for the first time and they played this, I was like, holy crap! Like, what song is this? And then my dad told me, and I was like, oh, that's the one that I always turn off. So then I went on my own. I got home and listened to the studio, and I was like, wow, this is great. I mean, I find myself singing to that chorus every time.
I haven't heard the rest of the album yet, but I think that was probably the perfect 2-song combination to open an album. That's how you open an album.
I have to agree. So the next one is called Sea of Madness. I like this one. I think you'll like it too, but I don't think you'll like it as much as the first two. I mean, they kicked ass on the first two, so it's hard to like change your mind. But yeah, we'll jump into this one.
I gotta say, I'm very impressed so far. This has been a great album. This, I have to say, is probably my least favorite out of the 3 so far.
That's what I thought.
I give it an 8.
Well, it's still pretty high.
Still pretty good. I love the bridge. And I also like how they took it down a notch in the middle there.
Yeah,
kind of reminded me of Metropolis Part 1 a little bit. Even though the song itself wasn't my favorite, I think it adds a lot to the album because it sounds a lot more like their older stuff, which I think you kind of have to throw a couple bones into the old school fans, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I have to. So this next one is a personal favorite of mine. I wonder if you can guess why. I don't know if you can.
Bass?
Yeah, bass intro.
Bass.
It's and the funny part about it, it is like the most basic intro, which I was surprised from Steve Harris, but it just like fits the mood and it sounds great. It's called Stranger in a Strange Land. That's why I think the title's cool.
Okay.
And also fits the futuristic feel like because it starts with Caught Somewhere in Time. And
what the fuck am I looking at? I'm just sitting here, and it turns blue and starts teaching me grammar. Look at it. What is that? It's never done this before. What the fuck was that? All right, take 2.
All right. So anyway, besides that interruption, holy crap, this is one of my personal favorites. I'm hoping you'll like it. I don't know.
Holy diver.
Yeah, right? That's what it sounds like.
So, I like a really good song so far. And I was worried because it's like you're and your dad's personal favorite, so I couldn't like not like it.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
I genuinely like this.
Oh, thank God.
It sounds like Holy Diver, except less cheesy.
It does, right? Yeah,
Really good.
I love Dio and Holy Diver, but I've heard it so many goddamn times that it does sound kind of cheesy. I love Dio, don't get me wrong. He's a legend, but it's like kind of cheesy because it's always on the radio and it's like, oh, you listen to Dio? Yeah, the Holy Diver? Like,
Yeah. So this is like Holy Diver on steroids. I just wanted to make that comment before I forgot.
And the funny part about the intro, that's just open on the U string. Oh shit.
I think we're back in it.
I think
we're back in it. That, I'll just start off with the rating, 9. That's another 9. That was like Holy Diver on steroids, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a huge fan of that song, but that was, I think, just way more powerful in every sense. I would have probably put that before the last 2 that we played.
Yep.
Just to make it even better, because, you kind of want to have it go from, like, best to worst, just to capture the listener's attention. But you said there's one more, right?
Yeah, we're going to do one more. There's 2 left, but I know Alexander the Great, which is the last one, which besides it being 8 minutes and 37 seconds long, I think on your own, if you listen to it, you might like it. So this last one, which is funny, because Dream Theater, this one's called Deja Vu.
Ah, okay.
Not strange.
Not a strange one, just a regular.
Just a regular one.
Okay. It was good. It wasn't necessarily like a standout, I don't think, but we are 7 songs in.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
So
pretty deep.
I wasn't really expecting like a blowout there, but I like the energy, even with being 7 songs in. They still came with top energy, and for that reason, it's gonna bring the rating up to a 7.
Oh, okay. Wow, I gotta say this outcome's pretty good. I didn't expect you to like it as much as you do. So as an album as a whole, what would you give it?
As a whole, so I was able to do some research into the background of this album before we started this video, since I was kind of banned from listening to it until now.
Right.
So I did some research into it. I understand it came out in 1986, and because of that, I think I add so many more points to it, because it's an album that's not only ahead of its time, but it's something that like trying to put myself back in 86 and all the other sounds that were coming out of 86. And then hearing this, I can see why it would get a lot of backlash, especially from the loyal fans. But being a modern listener and being one of my first full Maiden album, thoroughly impressed. I was not expecting. I said it met my expectations. Now I kind of think it exceeded my expectations. I have to give this one a 9 overall.
It's enough to make a grown man cry.
I'm just scared. I don't know if they could top that, Like,
unfortunately, in my opinion, which I'm sure a lot of Maiden fans love. I'm a diehard Maiden fan. There was 2 albums after this that were pretty decent, and then after that, they kind of just were
that's unfortunate.
But
their
I think
album covers got cooler.
Oh, their album covers are always great. I don't know, they kill it every time. But I think it's just over time. I mean, you write so many songs, you just run out of ideas.
Sure.
You go back to the drawing board and you're like, oh, I already did that. So I think that was the issue, but they're
especially
good.
Especially a pioneer like Maiden.
Yeah, especially pioneering stuff. But their good outweighs the bad, I think.